So CZ, he's retiring. And General Brown gives him his accommodation and to CZ's wife for services rendered. Then there's some two great speeches, one by the new SEAC and one by the CZ, the outgoing guy. Check this out.
Prior to today's ceremony, SEAC Colón-López was presented the Defense Distinguished Service Medal by General Brown. At this time, General Brown will now present SEAC Colón-López with his certificate of retirement. General Brown and Mrs. Brown will now present Mrs. Colón-López with the Distinguished Public Service Medal. The Distinguished Public Service Medal is awarded to Janet K. Colón. Mrs. Janet K. Colón distinguished herself by exceptionally superior public service in support of the members of the United States Armed Forces from December 2019 to November 2023. Mrs. Colón's patriotism and sincere personal involvement in the welfare of the members of the military community earned her deep respect from our service members.
And here's a typical military speech, some humor, some fun, and a little bit of rah-rah. There's three people speaking here. First the general, then we have Black, and then there's the last CZ.
But I do want to touch on just a few things. Born in Puerto Rico, raised on the mean streets of Bridgeport, Connecticut. When he got into his late teens, it was clear that he needed some purpose and direction in life. And so after being rejected by the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps, he was enlisted into the United States Air Force. And as a testament, folks, with God as my witness, as a testament to the Air Force's keen eye for matching airmen to the jobs that they are best suited for, he was assigned as a customer service specialist in a traffic management office. And so if you know anything about SEAC Colón-López, you can imagine him behind a customer service counter when somebody who's trying to arrange a household goods movement comes up and is complaining about the late delivery or whatever. You can imagine the degree of empathy to which the SEAC approached his customer service role. I have this vision of him coming across the counter and choking out some young airman. This was not the greatest part of his career. Let's be honest here.
Gentlemen, the fifth Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chairman, Troy Black.
I am the comic relief, sir. So two things really quickly. As I had a chance to kind of listen to the chairman's comments and the general's comments, I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I'm not nearly as pretty a man as CZ, so if we could get that photo down, it'd be really, really nice. Everyone, both the chairman and the general, have done a lot of introductions. I'm going to point out a couple of individuals that are here that I think are important to note. First, Secretary of Navy, sir, you and Miss Betty, thank you for being here. Specifically, as our chairman, General Brown, released his message to the force, he talked about accelerating change across the joint force. On behalf of myself in my former role as a Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps and General Berger, who is here right now, our 38th Commandant of the Marine Corps, thank you for your support. And I would ask, sir, between you, your peers, the Secretary of Defense, we need to do that for the entire force. Thank you for supporting the Marine Corps and the Navy in their role in doing that. Honorable Vizirani, sir, unfortunately, you and I spent a lot of time together. I think one of the chief things we spent time solving in all that unfortunate time was how to fix PCS moves for our families. I think with our SEAC 4 retiring today, we have just solved the entire problem because I now know what the problem was. I did not know, of all the things I know about you, brother, I did not know you're the problem. So I look forward to our continued relationship, sir, and all the things we're going to do to take care of our service members. Thank you. I mean, we'll go without saying with all the other distinguished guests that are here right now, and there's a slew of four-star admirals, generals, and others, I want to directly focus my time on thanking the senior enlisted that are here right now that represent the entirety of our joint force, whether they're serving as a service senior enlisted role or as a combatant command, they're here. These are the senior NCOs that lead our nation. Please give them a round of applause. And so I did take a couple of notes. Carlos, I know you're here. Where you at, Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps? So about 3 months ago, Sergeant Major Ruiz and I did our turnover. The last act that I would execute as the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, I lied. I did come to your office and steal one last note card with the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps chevron on it. Or be the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. So this is an honor of you. You're not going to get this back. It's the last relic that I have at this point. To all the folks that I can thank here today, I want to really focus on what we're here for. It's really to honor CZ and Janet. And why I say that is these ceremonies they go in any direction. And my job here is to say thank you, the courtesy of welcoming everyone to the ceremony today, but what we should focus on today is honoring an exceptional life and career that Janet and CZ have provided to our nation for the many, many years that they have served. And I want to make sure we don't lose focus of that being the number one priority. The number two priority is I get to talk less for the first time in a long time, so I'll make this fast. I was asked this morning, like you would imagine, hey, what do you think the significance of being the senior enlisted advisor to the chairman is? And I think it's pretty simple. It's because of all of us that are here right now. It's for my mom. It's for my sister, my wife, my kids. They represent every single one of us. It's for the people that we raise our right hand to protect and to defend. There is literally no other reason that any of us should ever wear this uniform except for them. We also have the honor to lead ladies and gentlemen that choose to also raise that right hand, the very finest America has, the very most qualified, the finest fighting force in the world is the United States military, and their success, our strategic advantage over every adversary is not technology, it's not a plane, it's not a system or a computer, it's not a screen, it is the very ladies and gentlemen that you see standing before us right now. And these men and women represent thousands, hundreds of thousands that are across the globe right now that allow us to be here right now in this place to celebrate CZ and Janet as they exit service. Most importantly, as we see forces moving around the globe right now to assist our partners and our allies and prevent a war, but always prepared to win right now. And ultimately, if I was to say what is the excitement of being able to come into this role, is being able to understand that if this is supposed to be a position of leadership and represent and inspire, I get the opportunity to be inspired by the world's finest warfighting force, the United States military. I get the opportunity to continue to raise my hand like all of us do to support and defend the Constitution, to promote the general welfare, but to provide the defense of our nation and those who wish to share in our freedoms, the most free nation on this planet. That's an opportunity. I get the opportunity to, like all of us in uniform, protect an obligation to provide for our posterity, our children, our future, who are the future of our nation. And lastly, I get to do this because Stacey said I could. Because ultimately, without the very families that support us, whether it's the mother that sent me off on an airplane a long time ago wondering what next, whether it's our friends that we went to high school with, like my friend Trey, who's still scratching his head on, what the hell am I doing here? Whether it's my sister that saw me go so many times and wrote a poem about it, my wife, my children, my friends, we're simple representations of all of us that wear these uniforms. And it's for them that we serve. Finally, it's for the men and women you see standing before you. This is not about SEAC 4, SEAC 5, any of us that get to sit here and watch them. It's actually for these men and women that we all serve. Because we have a solemn obligation to ensure that no matter what happens, our job is to teach, coach, and mentor them to ensure that one day they can all be sitting in these seats, standing in front of these podiums, and continuing to carry on the war fighting and war-winning legacy of our United States military. And for that, I am grateful. I thank God for this opportunity. The reason we're here is because of the path He's laid out and the path we choose to follow. I thank General Berger and Miss Donna most of all, because without your mentorship, sir and ma'am, Stacy and I would not have the tools necessary to stand with our chairman and Miss Shireen and share in this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And lastly, because we're a joint force, I must introduce you all to the most important phrase in the world. Semper Fidelis, hoorah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chairman, Ramon Colón-López.
Wow. Yes, I did get demoted. It was only once. And for that reason, SEAC number 5, I don't think that I'm the guy that needs to fix the household good crisis. Keep me on the battlefield. I do much better there. Well, you know, today's it's a bittersweet moment because we depart the ranks after 33 years of service. And I say we, Janet and I, because she's been with me through this all. But it's also a great day because I know that the Department of Defense is going to be in great hands with the Vice Chairman, Admiral Grady, with the Chairman, General Brown, and with SEAC 5 Pro Blacks. So all of you can rest assured that you will get everything you need to go ahead and kick the enemy's ass. Chairman, Mrs. Brown, Vice Chairman, Mrs. Grady, General, Mrs. Life, SEAC Black and Stacy, distinguished guests, family and friends, I want to welcome each and every one of you to this great occasion. And even though Secretary and Mrs. Austin and Chairman and Mrs. Milley cannot be here today, I want to thank them for the honor and the opportunity to serve our great nation. I would like to especially thank our Service and National Guard Bureau Senior Enlisted Advisors and the DSELC, the Defense Senior Enlisted Leader Council, represented here by the Combatant Command Senior Enlisted Leaders and the 4th Estate Senior Enlisted Leaders, all past and present, for their collaboration, support, and dedication to our service member, which is this fine formation to my left. You define teamwork, produce success, and epitomize servant leadership. I am proud and honored to have served with each and every one of you, and I'm looking forward to the difference that you will make in the future. I also want to thank our former SEACs in attendance today, and Brian Battaglia, who is not here with us, but is watching remotely. Your legacy has laid the foundation for this position and has provided an opportunity for both Troy and I to serve in this capacity. And as I mentioned the former SEACs, I also want to mention the first ever honorary SEAC, who is Chef Robert Irvine, who got anointed last night as the first person to have the honor to serve in this capacity. Now, the criteria for that particular honor is very simple. You just have to do a lot to take care of them. And this man doesn't rest. I don't know how you do it, Chef, but thank you so much for everything that you do. Let's give him a round of applause, please. To all of my former Special Operations teammates here today from all services, thank you for having my 6 and for your valor on the battlefield. Really, you are the best of the best. A special thanks to the members of my PJ selection class present here today. If you feed them beer, please do not listen to what they have to say. They're all lies. And an extra special thanks to a gentleman that was already highlighted by General Slife, and that is my father figure, my mentor, Wayne Fisk. Chief, thank you so much for being here with us today. It is my honor to have you here. The one thing that Wayne helped me with is that he told me early on in my formative years that if you really want to make a difference as a pararescueman, you must first learn to be a gentleman. Everything else will follow suit on that. Your skills, your acumen, your credibility will be based on that. And he was simply talking about character. So that is the kind of people that mentor us and mold us into who we are today. Next, I want to thank our veterans and our families, best represented here by our combat wounded and our Gold Star families. Valor on the battlefield comes at a high price, a price that every single you have paid with sacrifice and loss. This nation will never forget your contributions, and we shall honor you via our eternal commitment to fearlessly face the enemy anytime, anywhere. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Next, I want to thank my office of the SEAC, many who are represented here today, past and present, and also some of my former execs, because everyone in these positions know that they're the ones that really do all the work behind the scenes. So if you have worked for me in the past, stand up so that we can recognize you. You know, they're really the true gift of serving in these positions, because I can guarantee that every single one of them has become a friend for life. So really appreciate everything that you have done for us, and Janet and I are in debt for your sacrifice to serve alongside. And also, Janet and I have friends present from across the USA and abroad, including our international partners, friends from high school, from those streets of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Also, many others from walks of life. We have chefs, we have rock stars, we have comedians, we have authors, we have entrepreneurs. But every single one of you is simply a decent person. And that is the reason that you are in our company. And Chef, again, thank you so much for everything that you do. And to all of our other friends that are here, we really appreciate your company. And again, Janet and I really appreciate you making the time to come over here. So, our friends did nothing more than exposing us to a life that opened our eyes to many different things that we were not aware of. And as we travel abroad, we learn culture. And we ended up figuring out that there's a lot more to learn every day that we take a breath. And it was that journey that helped Janet and I become better people. And talking about better people, that journey for me began in my humble beginnings in a small town called Guanica, Puerto Rico. And there's a few of them here. That is represented here today by both of my sisters, Dee and Frances, by my brother-in-law, Harry, and my nephew, David. You really have been a pillar of strength in times of loss and in times of joy. And I can guarantee you right now that Mom and Dad are looking upon us smiling brightly because of where we are today. So let's give a round of applause to my family, please. And also, not being able to be with us today is the other side of the family, and that is Janet's side. I know that Bill and Don couldn't make it here today, but I know that they're watching. So Bill and Don, we love you and thank you for everything that you have done for us. And just like my parents are, Sally's also looking down upon us with pride and joy for this time today. And then to the most special person here today, and that is Janet. And we have two little ones at the house, Mabel and Semper. Semper's a new addition, and they're two dogs. You know, when it comes to Janet, I don't think that there's enough gratitude in this world to repay the debt for your sacrifices for every single one of us. I don't think that there's anything in this universe that can compare to your love and kindness. And there are not enough words in any vocabulary to express how fortunate I am to have you in my life. You assure me that I will always be loved, cared for, but most importantly, amused. You are the definition of love, grit, and selflessness. In essence, you epitomize the military spouse. So thank you for your love and your support over the years. One of my favorite authors, Ernest Hemingway, once said, "The great thing is to last and get your work done, and see and hear and learn and understand and write when there is something that you know, and not before, and not too much them after." That critical variable in that statement is time and timeliness. And as I reflect on my time in service, I realize that there will never be another time like this. But there will be other greats in this life. But really, never a time like this. And I want each and every one of you to think about the time that you're in right now. What is the meaning of your existence? What is your purpose? What have you lost? What have you gained? What are you proud of? And what do you regret? The meaning of my existence has been to sacrifice, living by one motto, that others may live. My purpose in life was to fight our nation's wars. My losses include friends, family, sanity at times, health, and time. My gains, family, honor, opportunities, and a life worth dying for. I am proud to have represented this great country with honor, and my regret is to have had only a limited time to do so. But even with limited time, I got my work done. I saw many things and many places. I heard great words and some not so great. I gained a better understanding of life by traveling. And I wrote when there was something to write about. And I seized that moment to convey those messages, not before or too late, to deliver the facts to our troops and our families. My life will now shift to make up time lost with my loved ones, to see, to hear, to learn, and to understand life as a family man, to attempt to make up for every important milestone missed, and to make my deposit into the memories of my loved ones using my presence as currency. While I realize that my life of service is far from done, I promise there will now be my priority, and that is my promise to you, Janet. But there's only one way that I can attempt to detach myself from the way of the warrior, and that is by having confidence that our Department of War will continue to be the most trusted, most lethal, most revered organization in the entire world. And we can only do that by adhering to the principles of sacrifice, duty, honor, and commitment. For a young man or woman to enter a life of military service, a sacred oath must be taken, much like my replacement, SEAC number 5, just did. That oath will become the most important promise that you will make in your lives. The price of acceptance into America's warrior class is payable on sacrifice. Our nation must understand that once they volunteer, they must conform to the military way of life and not the other way around. Service is about conformity, unity, and discipline, and we must not mistake the warrior few from the society they serve. The values that are acceptable in society, such as individualism, sensitivity, and compromise, are often antithetical to the traits that eliminate or deter our enemies on the battlefield. Our troops come from a free society, but they must not mirror that society. Our troops are a different kind of American, a subset of that society, one that is defined by that oath, by different laws, and by their battlefield purpose. They are broken of the human habits of comfort, taught to embrace unity and cohesion, and conditioned to fight the enemy. They embrace and respect each other, knowing that preferential treatment makes equal treatment seem like discrimination. They know that orders are not suggestions. They know that combat has no room for debate. They know that in the execution of their duties, they may pay the ultimate price. They know that service is not about self, it is always about the team. And they know that in this volatile and unpredictable world, they are one poor decision away from engaging in combat. We must ensure that they do not lose that combat fighting edge. That fighting edge always requires national support. They deserve the best, most realistic training to harden them for the hardship and horrors of combat. They deserve predictable funding to evolve, modernize, and validate their combat capabilities. They deserve the best leaders to ensure their success. What they do not deserve is to be used as bargaining chips for localized political agendas. They do not deserve to be financially hindered by continuing resolutions. And they do not deserve to be slandered as an institution for the actions of a few. They have always risen to the task when tragedy strikes, and will do it again every time. Just take another look at this formation. They are the best that America has to offer, and they certainly look ready to kick the enemy's ass. This is them right here. And the reason they're the best is because the history of the world is not one of peace. It is one of warfare. And out of close to 353 million Americans, they are the less than 1% that are willing to do the fighting. To everyone here and to those listening in, support them at home with the same loyalty, patriotism, and honor they give when they fight for you in foreign lands. Since Joe gained his selection in 2005 as a SEAC, it has always been filled by a war-fighting person. Fighting is in our DNA, and as SEACs, we fight daily to maintain the competitive edge over our enemies. And Troy Black will continue that trend. That Marine is battle-tested, knows what is required on the battlefield, and knows what it takes to defeat the enemy. He knows the importance of culture. He knows the value of teamwork. He exudes confidence and professionalism. Discipline and loyalty are built into that man's character. But most importantly, he is well-versed in the act and art of advocacy. I am confident that Troy will successfully lead this formation into the next battlefield, and he will ensure that the Department of Defense will continue to be the most trusted, most lethal, and most revered organization in the world. SEAC number 5, Marine, you have the watch. Following Hemingway's advice, I lasted to finish my work, but my time has come to an end. As we move forward into the next chapter of the Office of the SEAC, know that it has been my honor to represent every single one of you. As I reflect on my life as a warrior, I am grateful for the opportunity to leave it all on the battlefield to protect our way of life. But as I reflect on my life as a husband, I realize I got a lot of catching up to do. We'll go ahead and take care of that now, babe. I leave you today with the best advice that I can give, and that is that life is short, so don't waste it sitting around. Live intensely. Before you speak, listen. Before you write, think. Before you hurt, feel. Before you surrender, fight. But most importantly, before you die, live. Thank you for the honor of a lifetime. First dare that others may live. Huya.
Don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, and comment. Safe Space Cafe. And always, have a good day.